Good morning. We're going to make some pepper steaks and noodles today. I was given this beef top round roast, and we're going to use it to make our pepper steak. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure I save the juice that's going to come off of this. And so I'll open up over the, so I'm going to get all that flavor from the beef. Uh-oh. All right. Guess I need a second pair of hands. All right, we're going to put this to the side, and we're going to start cutting. All right, in food service, and we had ordered some pre-made pepper steaks. And it was on the menu for a special that we were serving. And we ran out, but we served roast beef sandwiches. And so I had a large piece of roast beef in the refrigerator. And so I took it out and I began to carve it into sections to make strips of beef. And I had a little bit of the item that we served in a bowl. And so I will taste it. First I looked at it and saw all the, see what kind of ingredients they had in it visually. I saw onions, bell peppers, and tomatoes. Then I began to taste it to see what types of ingredients that they had in it. And sometimes, because a dish has a ethnic origin, it has certain ingredients, spices. And I knew it has garlic, bell pepper, garlic, black pepper. I knew it had ginger in it. And so I put those spices along with salt and pepper, salt. And then I tasted the sauce, and it tasted like it had a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. So I added Worcestershire sauce to it. I knew it as it being pepper steak and noodles. It had soy sauce, and so I added soy sauce to it. And so I would taste it, add different ingredients in it. I know the consistency of the sauce had to be cornstarch thickener. It wasn't flour, because it was kind of translucent. And so I put all those ingredients together, and it tasted very similar, almost identical to the ingredients that was in the sauce. And so after we cut nice size sections of stewed beef, we could put it in the cut it in strips. Strips can vary in sizes, according to how large or small you want to have it. And just keep doing this. Now, large pieces, you might want to put them in half and then slice them. And this is a quick, easy way to do it, besides doing it raw. And so what I would do is I would just go to one of the food places, Publix, Walmart, anywhere where they sell stewed beef, sliced roast beef, and get you some large slices or chunks. And you can do it the same with this here. And so it'll save you some time, so probably save you some money. It's already pre-cooked, so you have to worry about hour-long cooking beef, trying to get it tender, an hour, 2 hours. And just continue to slice it in sections. And once you get it sliced into sections, you start balling it so it'll be tender, melt in your mouth tender. And so that's what I did on the job. And so after doing that, and it started, and the end product tasted so similar to the product I was trying to achieve, I started doing everything that way. So when I would go out to restaurants and eat and had a new item on the dish, first I would ask them what was in the item, and they would tell you stuff special, to that item. It may have some wine in it or something like that, so they would tell you that kind of stuff. But you can visually look at stuff and see that it has mushrooms, bell peppers, onions, thyme, oregano. Those things are visual. And then you begin to realize what kind of spices have, herbs have different flavors. You begin to recognize what type of flavor a spice is in certain things. I never forget that my aunt, she had sauteed some carrots and she put one ingredient in it and she asked me to taste it. And I knew what it did not taste like, but I knew what it looked like. And I never could really figure out what was this secret ingredient that she was using. And the carrots was delicious. They was really sweet. They had a unique flavor to them. Had never tasted anything like that. And after I kept guessing wrong and wasn't able to guess the herb that she used, it was bay leaf crumbled up. She sauteed sliced carrots, fresh carrots with butter and bay leaves. And I'm telling you, that two ingredients was awesome. And so we just continue to slice this up. I don't have this roast beef in the freezer about 6 months. To do this dish, or longer probably, might be longer than that. Might have been a year. But I never got around to it until today. And so you just continue to slice it in thin slices. Almost finished. I remember having an individual with a birthday party, and they wanted to do roast beef with gravy. And so I told them, I said, well, why don't you just go on to one of the stores and go to the deli section, get them to slice you some roast beef slices and the thickness that you want, and we will make a gravy, and you put it in the oven, and you cook it, and no one will ever know that you did not bake the roast and slice it yourself. And we did just that. It saved us a lot of time, effort, I'm pretty sure money. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the stove or on an eye. I have an electric eye that I'm gonna put this on, and we're gonna ball this for maybe I'm gonna say an hour. And so if you just give me a moment, I'm going to move this electric eye over. I'm going to sit this on top here. And we're going to put on it ball. All right. And so while that is getting prepared, I'm going to put some ingredients in here that you can see. I'm going to take my bell peppers and my onions and put those in last because I want them to stay al dente. So I'm not going to add those to the ingredients into the pot first. And I would say you can do this a taste. The first ingredient I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ginger. And I have a little bit of ginger left. I'm out of ginger, so all that I have. But you really don't want to use a lot of ginger. I have some fresh ginger, but it'll take over it also, so don't put too much ginger. Then I have some garlic. You can use a fairly amount of garlic if you like garlic. So I'm using a good little bit of garlic. And I don't have no measuring amount. All right, let's get some black pepper. So I'm sprinkling some black pepper over, get a little bit of black pepper. And I have some Lorry seasoned salt. I'm gonna add a little bit of that to it. Seasoning. Don't put too much because you know the soy sauce is very salty. What else can we use? Oh yeah. Like I said earlier, I tasted Worcestershire sauce. And so we're gonna put a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in there. Good little bit. It was a dominant flavor. And then I'm gonna put a generous amount of soy sauce. Now you can see that the meat is not submerged up under the water. So I'm gonna add some water to this. Right now, all we're doing is really balling the meat. But I want enough that it will make some gravy also. Now I must look for my lid. All right. Here we go. So we're going to put the lid on this, and we're just going to let it simmer. And so instead of keeping you on, I'll bring you back a little bit later on when it starts to ball, and I add the bell peppers and onions, and we'll taste it, and I will add some cornstarch for the thickener at the end. So I'll bring you back a little bit later. All right, guys, we're back. Had to run to the store. And this is how we do our onion. We peel our onions, cut them in half, cut them in real thin wedges, a long way. You can have as thin as you want them or as thick as you want them. But you want them to be like julienne fries. And the beef is already done. It's tender. Now I'm going to drop these over inside the beef and liquid. I'm going to continue to cut these up into nice sized pieces because you want the texture to still be intact while you're eating this. And so I'm not going to cook these onions and bell peppers that long. So just putting those in there. And I wanted a lot of bell peppers and onions. So I'm cutting up a lot of onions for texture. If you want this to be, I guess this could be your vegetables. It is called pepper steak and noodles. And so you need a lot of peppers. So I'll wash off the peppers. And what I'm doing is just cut them in straight little nice sizes. Not gonna be perfect. Just continue to add. You know, I was looking at Indian, Western Indian cooking, and they took the bell pepper seeds, they come out the bell pepper, and they added it to the pot. And I said, I never thought about that. I said, we use red pepper flakes, but we throw away those seeds. There's nothing really wrong with those seeds. So I started using my seeds in my dishes for extra flavor. Just continue to cut these up into nice long strips. Now another ingredient that when I was tasting the little sauce that we had left over to kind of copy it, I tasted tomatoes and I saw tomatoes. And so when I get through cutting these bell peppers up, I'm going to open up a can of tomatoes. Now, like other seasoning, tomatoes can overpower your dish. So you tasting the bell peppers and the onions, you put too much tomatoes in it, you were taste more of the tomatoes. And since I really don't want to have too much of tomato taste, but I want that taste of tomatoes, I'm gonna see if I have any fresh tomatoes. Be right back. And I'll use some of the fresh tomatoes if I have any. Alright, so I have a couple tomatoes. Some have some blemishes on them. I took the blemishes off them. What we're going to do is we're going to dice these up. Since I don't want it to overpower, but I do want the flavor of tomatoes. Just going to throw some fresh tomatoes over there in it. I was going to open up a can of tomatoes. I thought about it, maybe too much, and I didn't want to really waste a can. I have a can that's half used. I had these fresh tomatoes still in there, so I'm going to utilize those. You can see it doesn't take a lot of tomatoes. About time all of this get cooked down, it'll be done. So I'm going to put some more of those pepper flakes over there in it. Move that. Now what I want to add, I had to go to the store. I was out of soy sauce. And I love LaChoy soy sauce, but they did not have any. And I went to 3 different stores. Could not find the one soy sauce that I like. But I know Publix has a good brand name soy sauce, and so I'm going to use some of that. Now what I did do, while I was off camera, I did add some beef base. And since it's not really that salty, I'm going to add a good little bit of the soy sauce for flavor. Also, while I was at the store, I know I didn't have a lot of ginger, so I got this ginger flavoring. I'll add a little bit to that, like ginger juice. And now, before I stir this up, I want this to come to a ball and to thicken. So while it's not really that hot, because I cut it off when I went to the store, I'm going to add some cornstarch to this so it can thicken up and make a nice gravy. That should be adequate enough. Take my spoon, mix everything up nicely. By the time this comes to a ball, it should be sufficient for the bell peppers and onions and tomatoes to have cooked a little bit, incorporated into the sauce. And so that's basically pepper steak and the noodles right there. You can taste your broth, your gravy, to see whether or not it has everything you want in it. You may want some more garlic. It tastes pretty good there. I don't think it needs anything else but just to cook a little bit. You see how many bell peppers and onions you need to make it look really, the presentation look good. All right, we're gonna let that come to a simmer, and I'll bring you back once it's done. Not sure if you can see this or not, but the gravy's starting to get thick. And the cornstarch, the bell peppers and onions and tomatoes are almost done. Maybe another 15 minutes of cooking. I may just cut it off a little earlier and let the heat continue to cook it. That's basically what it looks like, y'all. Taste it and see. Not salty. I can use a little bit more soy sauce, but I'll let the kids put some of that on there. It's salty enough for those who don't really need a lot of salt. Gravy is thick enough, so I'm gonna let it simmer a little bit more. Call you back shortly. All right, we're back, and we're gonna see what the final product looked like. All right, it's boiling. The vegetables look al dente, not overcooked. So I'm gonna cut it off. Just gonna let it sit. Sauce is thick, but not too thick. We're gonna put them over noodles. If you was to purchase this from a Chinese restaurant, this big old pot, how much do you think it'll cost you? And what we do, we just got a pre-cooked roast, and we cut it up and made this from that. If the roast cost us $30 and the vegetables cost us another $30, that's $40. I mean, another $10, excuse me. That's $40, and for this dish, it's well worth it. And it'll take maybe 1 hour. All right, thank you. Right, y'all, this is the dish that we made, pepper steak and noodles. Now take care.